My name is Mark Styers. I work for the City of Charlotte General Services, the Construction Survey Utility Division. And in September, I will reach my 30-year milestone. In General Services, we inspect the city infrastructure that was designed, the storm drain, curb and gutter, roadway widening, culverts, multi-use paths, accessible ramps at the intersections, anything that's within the city right-of-way. I've been interested in construction from day one. Childhood toys include a multitude of Legos, Lincoln Logs, Tinker Toys, erector sets, and even the spare wood pile. I was always tinkering with something of one or another. And I came to Charlotte 35 years ago, started with Ralph Whitehead & Associates doing roadway, railway, bridge projects. And then after working on the road for 5 years, I accepted a position with the City of Charlotte. I found that with today's employment environment, advancement without a four-year degree is extremely difficult. The LTAP, the program, allows you to take classes, affordable classes, in a relaxed atmosphere that is directly related to your field of study. As a visual learner, sometimes universities are very difficult to navigate successfully, and the LTAP deals with your basic skills, your concrete, your asphalt, your hands-on applications. And that was a way I found that I could advance my self-knowledge, make myself a more valuable employee, and to constantly strive to improve myself to make me better than I was yesterday. LTAP offers a series of classes centered around the American Disabilities Act. And as a construction inspector, we are constantly building accessible ramps at intersections. So I took the first two classes that they offered, and then being a roadway inspector, they offered a class on the PROAG, which is the Proposed Right-of-Way Accessibility Guidelines. And that class deals with street crossings, sidewalk grades, driveways. And you don't realize that the mechanics and the physical forces behind, what happens if you change the sidewalk grade by 1%? What does that do to somebody in a wheelchair? Well, an NBA player, it's not a big issue. But for someone like my parents, changing the sidewalk grade becomes a very big deal. And so the PROAG classes were very interested, and so I went from PROAG to ADA and traffic control. How do you set up a traffic control? And for those people who are visually able to navigate, nobody likes, whether you're driving through a construction zone or walking down the sidewalk and having to detour. And everything is set up for those who can visually navigate. And these courses in LTAP brought to my attention, well, what happens if I can't see the sidewalk closed sign? What happens if I don't know where the detour is going? Mm-hmm. And I think in this day and age, we need to be more concerned about not necessarily providing a product for just those who can navigate it successfully, but those who have difficulties navigating, those who are visually impaired, those in wheelchairs. How do they actually make it through a sidewalk detour? And I think that's really overlooked in the design stage. And in the PROAG classes in LTAP really brought that to my attention, that we really need to pay attention to how everyone can access the sidewalks, and how we need to look at how other people see it through their glasses and the obstacles that they encounter. For the workers and the general public, the work zone safety, for those who are actually doing the work, those who are in traffic, those who are separated from buses and trucks by a 24-inch gap. We need to be aware that everybody has a job to do. We know that you're in a hurry to get to the grocery store, but we need to bring attention or awareness to everybody, that not only to the drivers who are driving through construction zones, but also to the workers, that they need to be self-aware of their surroundings. What side of the barrel is actually the safe side to stand on? And in the current project I'm working with, we've shifted traffic several times, and there's been occasions where I've had to stop and pause to realize what side of the barrels am I supposed to be on, what side of the barrels are the cars supposed to be on. And we have had several cases where the cars have ended up on the wrong side of the barrels. The LTAP offers a convenient, economic way to take classes. Everybody should strive to be better. And you need to be better than the way you were yesterday, and you need to strive to be better, so not only can you be of better service to your employer, but being able to create a better product for the end users. Well, in this case, working for the city of Charlotte, my end user are the citizens of Charlotte. And you take that group of people and then you expand it to where the end user are all the visitors, all the tourists that come to Charlotte, everyone that comes to the football game. And nobody likes construction zones in their way of getting to the football games. Even with 30 plus years experience, there's always something that you don't know. And with completing the Master's Road Scholar program, it not only increases your knowledge database, but also gives you a self-confidence on how to address and solve the problems that aren't in the book, the what ifs. And that's been a really strong, helpful from the LTAP programs. One should always strive to be better. You should take a daily interest in being a better person than you were. The LTAP platform provides a very convenient, low-cost, relaxed educational atmosphere that makes this, self-improvement a reality.
I'm Jason Moon. I work for the City of Raleigh. I am the Stormwater Program Supervisor for the Stormwater Maintenance Unit in the Transportation Department.
What motivated you to become a Master Road Scholar?
I'm a competitive person. I had a supervisor when I first started as an operator that sent us to LTAP for some training classes. And at the end of the classes, they give you a list of other classes and they tell you about the Road Scholar program. And as soon as I heard there was a goal, that's what I wanted. And so I pursued it, and I luckily had a supervisor that was supportive, and it went from the Road Scholar to the Advanced Road Scholar, and then when they debuted the Master Road Scholar, I had a colleague who I was very competitive with, and we were basically racing to be the first at the City of Raleigh to be Master Road Scholars. So,
can you share a memorable experience or class that helped you in your field?
The big classes that helped me in my field are Work Zone and Flagger. With where we work in the right of way, working for a municipality, and so the base of a cone is 14 inches wide, and that's all that separates us and live traffic. So, being able to being able to stand out there and control traffic with nothing but a vest and a cone is, you've got to know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So those classes have been critical to me. I use it every day. It's not useless information.
Mm-mm.
And I send all my staff to get the same training so that nobody is infallible or perfect, and so I want my guys to be educated and know just as much as I do.
What do you enjoy about working with the City of Raleigh?
Well, we do stormwater maintenance, and so most of our work is subterranean, and at the end of the day, we bury the work that we do. So my pride in my job is not in the looking at the work. It's not looking back at photographs and go, wow, that wall's really straight. It's my pride is in the guys that I do my work with, the staff that I have, how they look out for me and I look out for them. It's the brotherhood and camaraderie that we have.
How has taking our classes in the Road Scholar program impacted you? And what advice would you give to others who are considering becoming a Master Road Scholar?
The biggest impact would be my confidence. I had some engineering experience in previous job, but when I came here and started taking classes, it built my confidence up, and then I sought out more classes even outside of ITRI and LTAP. And so I've improved my knowledge, and I've gotten to a point in my career where now I'm a subject matter expert, and I have other smaller municipalities that don't have access to resources that the city of Raleigh has that call me and ask questions. And so had I not gained that confidence and knowledge through the training that I've taken with LTAP and ITRI, I wouldn't have been in a position to answer those questions. I wouldn't have had that confidence. And I also, through that confidence and I enjoy training myself, but also passing on what I've learned. And so I took the next step and have actually become an authorized OSHA safety instructor. So I enjoy being the guy at the front of the room now. I enjoy that. I would advise that to find the value in it. I don't think there's enough that there's too many construction companies out there that don't place value in training their employees. When I first started my job, I had a supervisor that handed me the flagger instructor handbook, told me to sit in the truck for 5 minutes, and then he put a flag in my hand and told me to go flag traffic. To now be in a position where I'm that guy and I'm doing the right thing and I'm investing in my people. I would love to see more people do that. There's value in it. It saves lives, it saves time, it saves money, and to only look at your profit and loss statement when deciding whether or not to train your employees is short-sighted.
Absolutely. So it's a good investment.
It's absolutely a good investment. Yes.
And for the last question, can you share a perspective that expresses the importance of safety awareness with work zones? Like it could be a perspective from your job or just a personal one.
Well, I ride around and I look at other people's work zones, and because I have the training and the knowledge, I know what I'm looking at. I ride around and see people doing it wrong. There's flaggers with the stop slow paddle stuck in a cone. They're standing sideways. They're not doing the hand gestures. They make all kinds of mistakes. Their signs in the wrong place, and I've gotten to a point where I complain about it so much that my kids have picked up that a basic knowledge of work zones, and they can actually point out the things that are wrong now. And so it's just I have a passion for it. I've really I've gotten to that point where it's an important thing for me, and so I've been able to pass that on to not only my staff but my kids.
That's awesome. Maybe your kids can one day take over your employees, teach them a thing or two. All right. Well, thank you for your time today, Mr. Moon. I appreciate your perspective and what you have to say, and I thank you so much.
Yeah.